So it's that time of week again. It's time for our usual Friday night live stream. So let's see who's come in. I think I just saw a message from Frank. Frank, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. How are you keeping? Let's shift that over there. Thumbs up. Let's see who else pops in for a little chat. Oh, we're getting some people coming in. Let's see who we got. So Dean saying he forgot it was even Saturday. No way. No way. How are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Laura, thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. Christiana's here. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. No, Christina, sorry. Oh, I'm messing that up. Mike Pope, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Yashvin, how are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Oh, messing that up. Frank, how are you keeping, man? How is everyone? How's everyone's week's been? How is the garden going? Uh, not how long till? Oh man, Carl Phillipstown Nordic allotment. How are you doing, man? Thank you very much for coming. Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much for coming in. So, what's going on in the world with everyone at the moment? Has it been? Have you been able to get out with all this rain at the moment? Because it's just completely hectic, pouring it down. For the last week or so, it's just been quite miserable, hasn't it? Dean's back at work. When did you start back, Dean? Leslie, how's your new job going? Dan M is here. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Excuse me. Guys, if you haven't hit that like, please hit that like. Dean was back in on Thursday. Is that the first day you were back in? What do I think about having two wives? um, let's talk about compost tonight. Uh, the pool hall shut down 2 weeks into a job. Oh, no way. No way. Sorry, Leslie. Sorry to hear that. Um, that's not good. It's hard. It's such a hard time at the moment. It's such a hard time. Um, it's not easy at all for a lot of people. I feel for you guys. Finished my no dig beds with 2 ton of compost. Also planted garlic. Carl, are you just going to leave the compost uncovered, or are you going to cover the compost? Garden is great. Just had my first homegrown leek, and we were well happy with the size. No carrots left, but still harvesting spuds as well. Frank, you're lucky if you're still harvesting spuds. My pots, so the spuds I planted to get me through winter. The ones that I was going to harvest in winter, they all got blight, and they've been completely devastated. So I'm not very happy with that. Been worked Thursday and Friday, then off Saturday and Sunday. Um, are you back working your normal hours? Isabel, thank you very much for coming in. Uh, so hang on. Okay, quick question. If I plant garlic now, does it need to be in a sunny spot? Garlic garlic will like a sunny spot. It'll tolerate semi shade as well. It will need some sun. So if you've got completely no sun, a lot of plants will struggle in no sun, but it will need some sun. Partial shade will be okay. Uh, so you're going to be back working normal hours and shifts. Leave it uncovered. Pick the last of my sweet corn. One of the things, Carl, if you do you know if you just get some cardboard and cover your compost over the top, and just let it. Do you know with your no dig beds, if you're not going to plant in them for a while and you're just hoping for that organic matter to be taken into the soil by the worms, if you just cover it with some cardboard or something, you'll protect that compost as well from from the elements, because a lot of rain will come, it'll wash out a lot of nutrients, because a lot of if you just think about compost tea for a second, a lot of nutrients inside compost is water soluble, so you can end up losing some of the nutrients. And if you cover it as well, you're not going to lose any to erosion, because compost can erode, and it can crust over. So that's one thing that I do if I use compost. Brandon Outdoor Adventures here, and he's coming in with a $5 super chat. Look at him, man. Thank you very much for coming in, and thank you for that very generous donation. I appreciate that. I hope you're keeping well, mate. It's been a while. I hope you're keeping well. I'm not doing too bad. I'm not doing too bad. Gardening season's starting to come to a bit of a slowdown. Um, but yeah, we're all right. I've put compost now, but I want to plant some peas for overwintering, so I'm going to leave it uncovered. Um, if you're going to plant some pea, well, if you're going to plant some peas in it, then no, that's fine. See, I've done that. Um, I'll have a. I'm hopefully planting my garlic out tomorrow. But the way I plant my garlic is, if I haven't got mulch on already, um, then what I'll do, or if my mulch is thinning out, then what I'll do is I'll put down. If I've got heavy mulch, then I'll just make rows and line them with compost, and then just plant into them, into the mulch. But what I'll do is, if I haven't got a heavy mulch on, or the mulch is wearing thin after a couple of years, what I do is I put down a layer of compost mulch, and then cover it in cardboard and make holes through the cardboard and plant my garlic through that. And then what happens is the cardboard slowly rots over winter, and by the time spring comes, um, you can either plant some cover crops into it or stick some more mulch over the top of it, and you won't get any weeds germinating. A little neat trick for that. Uh, but it's best to do it with the big sheet cardboard boxes, like the washing machine boxes and stuff like that. So Dean's lost the plot, saying, mate, guess what? I can't guess what. Tell me. Um, I've seen your video come out on greenhouse heating. If you want ideas for greenhouse heating, there's a man. He's got a beautiful fireplace in his, and go and check that out. Uh, so okay, we'll do that. Thank you. I had 4 times 50 litre bags for £10. Used 52 bags. Wow. You've spent some money on some compost as well this year then. Uh, what do you do about rats? I don't. I used to have a rat problem. What I did was I invited all the neighbourhood strays to come and live in my garden. So one's taken up residence in my old greenhouse. There's a little black stray cat that lives in my greenhouse. There's another one that just hangs about in my shed whenever it's open. Um, but they've sorted my rat problem out. But this area where I live, it's got quite a bit of a rat problem. Doing well, thanks. Garden is almost done for me, but hunting season is here and trapping season starts soon. I'm doing garlic this year for the first time. Good luck with your garlic. It's a good time to get it planted before the winter comes. Muaz wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. Got the chance to share half a pot with lovely Jamaican lady who lives half a plot. Oh, it's a good job I ain't got my glasses, isn't it? Half a pot. Who gets on my bus? She needs someone to help her because she can't manage the whole plot these days. So I said I would. That's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. It's a nice way of getting started as well. Because if you haven't got an allotment, some of them can be quite big. So if you're going on and you've got some company, it's nice. It's nice. I'm dancing. I'm going to try the cardboard idea. It's a cool little trick. Because what I do is I'll explain. Let me just catch up with the chat, and then I'll explain what I do. Um, I've brought ericaceous compost for blueberry bushes after last week's chat, but the weather hasn't been fit to go out. Maybe tomorrow. Laura, I'm feeling you on that weather issue. We've had the same issues with the weather at the minute. Last week we didn't even get to go out for our walk, but we went out this morning, and I posted it in the Facebook group. I got some amethyst deceivers, so the little purple mushrooms, and I foraged them. Came home and I cooked them up and had them for my breakfast. That was nice. So far, so good. My stomach's not rumbling. Dean saying I dropped my phone and smashed it. Oh man, no way. So what are you gonna do to fix it then? Um, Rabia, wa alaikum assalam. Thank you very much for coming in. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, mate. I'm always on the lookout for them as they like hen's teeth. They like hen's teeth. What does that mean? Um, I have beefsteak tomato plant growing indoors and it's already flowering. Will it survive over winter inside? If you can give it plenty of, what I'd do is I'd try and keep it trimmed and no, try and keep it trimmed and keep it short because what will happen is the lack of light will cause it some issues. And then as long as you keep it warm and you give it some light, it'll grow. It'll keep growing over winter in your house, and then next summer or next spring you can plant it outside. And if it does start to get leggy, just plant it deep. So what I did I had some really tall tomato plants. They were really thin, really tall. So what I did was I stuck most of the plant under the ground, and they gave me some really good crops this year. So yeah. Uh, Christina, share it with. uh, yeah, yeah, they are. I've looked. I'm not sure what he's written. What that's replying to, Carl. Sorry. Um, Mike's allotment. Mike, how are you doing? Long time no see. I hope you're keeping well. I contact plumbers too as they take them out of houses and scrap them. Okay, that's not a bad idea. I've discovered a great shrub tree for shade. How do you even say that? Sechuna pepper? I'm completely. I'm pronouncing stuff is not my forte. So, semi-shade, permanent edibles, except the classic berries, rhubarb, spinach salads. Okay. I'm gonna have a little Google of that. Let me see if I can copy that bit of text, and we'll get it up here. Sichuan pepper. Okay, Sichuan pepper. There we go. Uh, I just wanted to say you're a very good looking guy, exceptional skin quality. I'm glad you like it. Look on Facebook Marketplace, eBay, Gumtree, Spock for parquet back boiler stove. Nick's allotment diary. Nick, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. Nick did his sunflower results a couple of weeks back. Absolutely brilliant. There was a guy and his son grew a sunflower almost as tall as their house. Absolutely massive. It was huge. Uh, Yashvini has a time machine. Grumtree not looked there yet. Everyone's saying hello to Nick. Hen's teeth hard to find. I get you. I get you. Um, my chilies are still flowering and growing. What will happen? Um, if you've got them outside, they're gonna struggle. So you need to bring them inside if you want to overwinter them. Some I know some people who've whose flowers on the chili plants haven't dropped all winter and they've gone into next season and they're still done well. Some have some have some will drop their flowers and then in spring they'll come back to life. If they do drop their flowers, just trim them back, give them a nice structural frame like a stalk and a couple of branches, and then next spring they'll come back to life as well. The thing I was saying about ten hen's teeth was looking for a wood burner. Also could go with rocking. anyone can help with artificial lights, thinking of setting one up this in what I've got a Mars Hydro. It's a long thing. It's quite a substantial piece of kit. I quite like it. I mean, I quite like the piece of kit that they've handed out. I know Dean's got a couple of Spider Farmer ones, and they come like a square plate, so that'll give you a bit of a broader coverage, whereas mine will give you a bit more of a strip sort of shape coverage. Um, so Dean, what do you reckon to your Spider Farmer as well? Will it produce tomatoes inside because it's flowering now? If you give it enough light, enough food, and enough warmth, it will. Because that's just the way those the indoor growers grow them inside a greenhouse. Um, but if it's lacking any of those things, it'll struggle. Dean dropped his phone, really lost the plot. Naughty. Sichuan pepper, spicy, citrusy peppercorns. I just had a Google of it, and I'm gonna have a proper read of it in a bit. But that's very interesting. That Yashvin doesn't know you're married. It's all right. My wife watches this, so she monitors me, so she knows I'm not getting up to anything naughty. Um, Nick's allotment died 20 feet, 21 feet tall. That's absolutely massive. So Dan, what I was saying was, do you know what I do is, if you've seen me grow my potatoes in wood chips, I grow my potatoes in the wood chips, right, and I pile on a layer of compost and then tons of wood chips, so at least a foot of wood chip, and then I grow my potatoes. And then once my potatoes have grown and I've harvested my potatoes, I'm left with some some wood chip that's broken down really nice. Some of it's quite big, and it'll take a couple of years for that to break down. So then what I do is I spread that over my bed, and that'll do me for mulch for the next year or so, or next couple of years or so. And then what I'll do is I'll move on to a different bed that's the wood chip's starting to die down, or the mulch is starting to die down, and I'll grow my potatoes over there. And then once that's finished, then I've harvested that, and then I've got my mulch for that bed, and then I'll move on to a different bed. So I'll just keep going around like that, making my mulch for each of my beds. And with a lot of the beds, what I do after that is especially coming into winter, is I'll cover crop them. So I'll plant loads of cover crops in the spring. I'll cardboard the cover crops and then compost over the top of that, and just let that, and then I'm ready to grow again. Um, I'm good learning to drive a bus. It's taking up all my time. Mike, I've seen your provisional driver's test certificate on Insta. I think it was on Instagram or Facebook. I saw it on there. But congratulations, very good stuff. I'm officially getting eggs from my 5 hens this week. Got 10 eggs so far. No more store-bought eggs for me. Drops Family Gardens getting eggs from his hens. That's what we like to hear. A nice self-sufficient Drops Family Garden. Brilliant. Absolute congratulations. I like that. Um, we're at 27 people, 12 likes. If you haven't hit that like, please hit that like for me. Um, my sunflower head was an inch behind Nigel's. See, my biggest sunflower was like that big this year. For some reason, my sunflower's got something that looked like blight. So a lot of the plants, the leaves just went brown and they got really horrible and started dying. So yeah, they just didn't do well this year, my sunflowers. Even though they were growing in the ground, normally I don't get bad sunflowers. This year it was just horrible. Mike, I was a bus driver for 14 and a half years. Oh, Frank, I never knew that. What, do they still have bendy buses? I was trying to explain to my son what a bendy bus was, and yeah, I, I haven't seen one for a long time. Did you ever drive one of them, Frank? My aubergines are still growing, but they're very thin. What to do? Uh, are they? What type of variety are they? Are they the round ones or are they the long ones? Because I've got lots of long aubergines, so they grow to about 6, 8 inches long, and they're about 2 inches. The girth is about 2 inches, so they've got lots of length, but not a lot of girth. Whereas um, and they seem to produce really well for me. But I grow the um, round aubergines as well, but they don't do that. They're not as prolific. Uh, Douglas Smith and his son were the guys who won the sunflower competition. Got my license on Thursday, Frank. The Spider Farm at Mars Hydro, lighter 2 foot by 2 foot growing areas. Mate, I like the Mars Hydro. Had good results. See, I like the Mars Hydro. It seems quite robust, a solid piece of kit. Dean, your sunflower head was very, very big then. Nice one, Mike. Taxi driver. Taxi driving not any good. Um, and the Spider Farmer is a great light for starting seedlings off. 15.5. What does elephant garlic taste like? I've never grown elephant garlic, so I couldn't tell you. But I know it's a lot milder and more like a leek. Well, it is a leek, but yeah, I've never grown it, so I couldn't tell you. Always, always Qadri is here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. Leslie, is Kyle upstairs with you? Alhamdulillah, I'm alright. How are you keeping? Arsalan Khan is here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. Excuse me. I've got a tickly throat since yesterday. I don't know why. Okay, sneaked up when I told him not to. Frank and Mike, I'm up. No way. We've got a bus driver. We've got the bus drivers union in the house. Shall I start the timer? See how far behind he is. I'm probably way behind. I'm probably just. I'm probably just gonna go into copy with the rotation. um, you're here. We've missed you. Come on. Sit there. Okay, get your hand up. Let's see. Right, I just wanted to show you this little gadget that one of my friends is out in this company. It's called Udderlock, and it basically, the way it works is you fasten this onto a milk bottle, and then if you're in like an office and people nick your milk, they can't. It's got a key and a child safety lock kind of thing, so they can't open the lock. They can't open the milk bottle without this key, and no one can steal your milk. I thought it was a brilliant idea. So is that udder lock thing? If you bring me a milk bottle, I'll show you how it works.
I'll go get one.
Not right now, in a bit. But I
just thought I'd show you. Of it and show
I told him I'd show it on screen. He's a friend of mine. He started this little company. It's a little gadget of his. So let's give him a little shout out. But yeah, Udderlock, that's what it's called. So there's no more bending bus. There's no more bendy buses anymore.
What's bendy buses?
I was explaining that to you the other day. My sunflowers had something like blight pulled them up, but I need to Google that and find out what this sunflower blight thing is. We have bendy buses up here. Last one I was on was in Amsterdam though.
Baba, can you make a little video? Can you make a video of you opening it and showing how to use it?
We can do it. We can do it on this live stream if you bring a bottle. If you want a driving alternative to a taxi, maybe try.
Can I try find an empty bottle?
Okay. But it's not important. Okay. If you want a driving alternative to taxi, maybe try a supermarket. I think they're okay. Supermarket delivery drivers. That's not a bad call actually. I've seen loads of people going to things like Uber Eats at the moment, but I don't like the way Uber treats people. Do you know, in terms of the wages and stuff. He needs to put some clothes on. He's not coming on. Okay, let him do his toilet and stuff then. So this is how this Udderlock thing works. So you get the milk bottle, screw it on. Oh. There you go. I'm just completely ruining the demonstration. Um,
How do you do it?
so you put that on.
Yeah.
And then screw it on.
Yeah.
And then take that off. And then no one can open this. It spins around like a child safety lock. So you need this key to be able to open your milk. So it's a quite little neat tool. There you go. Put that away now.
Wow, that's cool.
There you go.
That's cool.
Give it to him. You can have the blue one. You can have the blue thing. It just started doing the hamster wheel thing, so I think I'm back.
That was a good loading thing. If I ever make a
Asma's Kitchen is here. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Tony T 23 is here. Thank you very much for coming in. Scrapping Irish, thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're all keeping well. We lost quite a few people in the little hamster spinny thing, so hopefully we'll get them back. I apologise for that. Okay, shush. We need you quite a little bit. Is that okay? Thank you. For everyone, any suggestions on perennial shade, semi-shade edibles? I should take the bus more often for gardening tips. Do you like sorrel? Sorrel. Sorrel's a good one for full shade. Anything like if you're looking at vegetables or annuals, anything leafy will grow in semi-shade. So sorrel, chard, those kind of things. I don't give them sunny spots. I give them my shady spots. Cherries will grow in partial shade as well. Cherries, plums will do that as well. There's so many different ones though. 100 watt, 400 watt, which is best. I've got a video on a light that I've got. I've been quite impressed with it this last year. I mean, I'm quite new to growing with lights. Last year it did me well. Early part of this year it did me really well. So I've got a video on that. I think Dean's got a video on the light he's got. So you can have a look at the two and compare the two. The one that he was suggesting isn't the one that he's done a video on, but the one that he's suggesting is the one that I've got. Love the milk bottle top. Everyone complaining about milk stealing. See, Laura, it's called Udderlock. It's quite a little neat trick, neat little gizmo. So Christina's in Telford. Sam's allotment diary. Sam, how are you doing, man? Thank you very much for coming in. Let me just close that door. I'm getting a lot of feedback from all of these guys. I'm getting a lot of noise from them. So Phillipstown Nordic allotment. Which is the best thing? Do I need to hire what for starting seedless and going up? Take it down a notch, man. I've got an aero garden, but the LED stopped working. I've not. I'm officially hired as a salesman for the Udderlock.
I showed it to Afa.
Oh man.
I know what you should do with the Udderlock. You can a milk bottle, and you can make the Udderlock come with it.
Frank said it's connected to the mains, so hopefully we're not just gonna die in the chat. Good that you're able to join this evening. Absolutely, Sam. It's been a while. I hope you're keeping well. And
get this off.
No, stop it now.
Can you get it off?
No, just leave it.
Okay.
The milk's gonna fall. Can you go now?
Can you just do what your mum's asking you to do, please?
Say assalamu alaikum.
So we've got a little bundle of trouble coming to say hello and terrorise this.
Hello. Hello.
Sit back. You don't need to be so close to it. Look, they can still see you from there. You don't need to be right in the phone. Come on, come away from it. White chard also seems the least likely to bolt.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
What's what?
What's that?
I'll show you what that is.
What's that?
Rahman Raja, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in.
Huh? What'd you say?
I think I'm
Uh,
Oh.
Dean's back. We want Zaki. He's here. Yes. Listen, don't press something.
I pressed the axe.
Okay,
You're getting too
look,
late for the bed.
come on, Zaki, give us a song. Are
Bumpy, bumpy,
you gonna sing Rabbana ya Rabb? No?
Okay, let's go then. Do a nasheed. Do one nasheed. Nicely.
I can't sing.
Go on.
Terry King's allotment gardening on a
No.
budget is here. Terry, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in.
Go on.
Press the end stream. Drop. Do you wanna get rid of it? He does need a spanner. I need my mouse though. Let me see if this thing does it. Oh no, you can do it. There we go. So everyone's saying hello to Terry, and I'm mashallah.
Yam,
So
meme, noon, ha,
Wow.
wow, yeah.
Bagan, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. If you haven't hit that like for me, please hit that like. We've got 33 viewers, 26 likes. Let's get that like count up a little bit.
I'll drink.
Um,
Come on then.
Okay.
No.
okay, don't do that because you got me in trouble last time.
Come on, Bismillah.
So, yeah, the title of this video, this live stream actually, I've got. So one of my friends, his friend is a head teacher of a school in Batley, and they've invited me over to come and talk to their kids at school. They asked me to come and talk to them about gardening. And I was like, it's a bit late in the season to be talking about gardening, so what I'll do is I'll come and talk to you about compost and soil. So they've invited me over to go and talk to a bunch of year sevens and year eights about compost and soil. So I told the head teacher, look, you've got to have some pallets ready for me. You've got to have a large plastic container, and you've got to get and a water butt tap. And we're going to make some worm bin. I'll bring some worms. We'll make some worm composting, so you can start composting your food waste from your kitchen. And you can set up a pallet bin and compost all the leaves and stuff that you gather in your playground. So it's gonna be fun. And my daughter's actually been pitching me to her head teacher, and she's gonna try and get me. She's gonna try and get me in her school to give a talk to you guys, right?
I gave her your card in the morning. I forgot about the date.
Okay, keep that down. Because you're blocking. Oh, it's all nappies on. Need a bit of that in this weather. Absolutely, just full of being. Very busy, Nick. Just built my rocket stove. Nice one. You can't go wrong with a nice rocket stove. Terry, your prize is being posted on Monday. So Terry won the long root vegetable. In so
It's Terry.
Terry King's a rocket stove is the way to go. Absolutely.
Hi, Terry King.
See, Frank, I'm sure they're going to be fascinated because I'm going to get them. I'm going to just get them messing with worms all day. I'm just going to get them playing with worms. I told them it's not going to be a lecture. I told them it's going to be a practical, and I said I'll give them 2 hours of my time. So we'll go and give them a proper 2 hours. Get a pallet compost bin up. I'm going to get them raking the garden, raking the playground, gather up as many leaves to start making compost. And yeah, I think they'll get interested. I think I could. Do you think I can keep? Do you think I can keep you entertained for a couple of hours talking about compost? Is it interesting? Mm. Geothermal is the way to go. Absolutely. if anyone's in our Facebook group, there's a guy called Gary Finch. He's got a geothermal greenhouse. He's overwintering chilies in there. He's overwintering peppers in there, and it's an average sized backyard greenhouse. And he's done an absolutely fantastic job. Um, yeah, I mean, I like my hotbed approach, and that works for me. Just simply because I should have thought about geothermal when I built my greenhouse. I should have thought about those kind of things. I made some quite bad mistakes when I built my greenhouse. I put it in the wrong place. I put it slap bang in the middle of the garden when I should have put it at the bottom to one side. Uh, Terry won the prize for the
That
best
was on the
sunflower
movie
display.
websites that you said were
Okay,
banned and
please.
illegal.
Okay. Uh, so Frank agrees with drop geothermal idea. Absolutely, I think that's a brilliant idea. Frank, have you seen Gary's geothermal website? Geothermal greenhouse. He's doing some really good stuff with that. Brick built total cost £2.50. Now that's what we're talking about with Terry and his magic buildings.
Hi, Terry and his magic building.
He does some amazing projects, and the amount of the money he spends on it. Yeah. Um,
Video up Wednesday night at 8 p.m.
Hello, Graham. Thank you very much for coming in. How do I build a rocket stove? I've seen some Americans
Thanks.
videos on this subject, but unfortunately, I don't trust the Yanks. Nice bunch, but uh, a bit false. Um, a rocket stove is basically an L-shaped stove with a chimney, a long chimney, and the theory behind it is that the draft, the flame is supposed to be dragged in and up, and by doing that, it's supposed to burn on stick fuel, and then it's supposed to combust all the microparticles in the exhaust. That's what the long chimney is for. It combusts a lot of that. Now you can make a rocket stove with a thermal mass, and that's basically a rocket mass heater, and you can make that chimney or that horizontal burner shaft go through a large anything. Like some people make it like a wood a clay bench on top of it, and then they'll heat that and use that as a thermal mass, and then they've got a nice thermal mass. Some people use like a back burner with bricks and stuff on it and use that as a thermal mass, and then that works like a battery then because you've heated it up and then it'll slowly release the heat. But there's some really good stuff on rocket stoves. You can make it as simple or as complicated as you want. So the simplest version would be a couple of bricks sideways and make it a rocket mass heater. Then make that shaft, the burn chamber longer, and cover that up with clay and turn it into a nice little bench, and you'll have a thermal mass there to heat up and release energy. So Graham, it could be me. It could be me. We're not having the best of nights with signals, so it could be me. Mike's got to go babysitting tonight. Promised to make a video. So Mike, you take care. So Terry's rocket stove video is going to be up on Wednesday. Good dog. What's Frank's website address? Frank's website address. Which one's Frank's website? Gets hot. Gets very hot, but high turnover of fuel. Yeah, that's the issue with it. I mean, I've seen some people try and add on like an automatic stick fuel feeder chamber. Um, I don't know how effective they are. If you want to use them, then you need pretty long sticks for it to work. But I like I had pretty good results with my hotbed in my greenhouse last year, and I think once my chilies start dying out, then I'm going to do the same thing again this year. and once I've obviously harvested all that good compost from it. Dave's allotment garden. Dave, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. I've plenty of cut or offcuts of pallet wood. You see, there's loads of waste wood then that'll give you some good fuel for your garden, and all that ash as well. All that ash is absolutely fantastic for your garden. Everyone's saying hello to Dave. Brian, how are you doing? I hope you're keeping well. Thank you very much for coming in. Rocket stoves should be made from fire bricks. See, that's another idea there. That's a pretty good idea. If you do the burn chamber with the fire bricks, then that's going to work like a battery as well. So the Yanks seem to be onto something here. Can I find an English stuff on this? Graham, if you just type in permaculture and rocket stove or a rocket mass heater, there's loads of them. There's loads of them that'll pop up. My uh, um, my wife talks a lot of compost, and I ain't talking. uh, Good dog. It's not Frank that has a website. It's a guy on our Facebook group. His name's Gary Finch. If you're not, if you're not, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, if someone can get the link of our Facebook group and pop that in, he's got a geothermal website greenhouse, and um, he puts his stuff onto the group. I think I might have said website instead of greenhouse earlier when I was talking about greenhouse. I think website just came out my mouth. So sorry about that. So, what about gas escaping from the rocket stove? Um, Isabel, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to. The only thing that you're supposed to get at the end of a rocket stove fire is some. If it burns fully efficiently, all you're supposed to get is water vapor. Now that's the theory of a good rocket stove, because what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to burn all the carbon that's coming before it gets out. But and I appreciate no one's going to get 100% efficient rocket stove.
Fish.
I didn't say fish.
I thought I said fish.
I'd better watch out for an explosion then, Dave. Used handmade bricks. Uh, yeah, good dog. Good dog. It's on our Facebook group. The stuff's on our Facebook group. Um, Gardening on a budget. The clay bricks might well explode. Be careful. No, that'll be something dangerous. I learned about geothermal from watching This Old House years ago. Um, okay, I'll have a look later. Great. Yeah, I mean, if you just type it into Google, you'll come up with loads of instructions on rocket stoves. It's one of the first things that actually got me looking at permaculture as a thing. Um, Looking at rocket stoves. I don't know why I started looking at rocket stoves, but I started looking at rocket stoves, and that's what got me into looking at what permaculture is and this kind of stuff. Um, yeah, so I said website instead of greenhouse. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Causing all this confusion with me not being able to get my words out. Dave, did you manage to save any sunflower seeds? Um, Americans will disagree with you there. That's what rocket stoves, geothermal, and stuff doesn't pay off for polytunnels. Isabel, try sticking a hotbed or a couple of hotbeds in there. Uh, it's not an aerobic form of composting. It's more of an anaerobic form of composting, and because it's anaerobic form, it it will it will stay hot for a lot longer. So I've done a video on how to heat a greenhouse using a compost pile, and what I did was I built a pallet compost pile and I just stacked it with manure and wood chips and grass clippings and stuff like that. And it over winter, even though outside it was -2, -3, the inside of my greenhouse didn't get below about 5 degrees, 4 or 5 degrees. It stayed around that sort of temperature all winter. So that might be a little trick for you if you fancy that. Just stick a couple of hotbeds in there, and then if you put a cloche over your hotbed, you can actually grow into your hotbed. I mean, I managed to grow lettuce through winter. I managed to grow get my onions started off quite early. I think most people start them on Boxing Day around that sort of time. I started them in November and had them growing all the way through. Um, a few other little bits. The only issue comes in is light. Light becomes an issue, especially in the UK when we're having short days. So Dave's still got some sunflowers growing. Uh, you okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
reading this
You need
book.
high temperature pipes and a large earthen mass surrounding a rocket stove. The idea is multi-chambered with several 90-degree bends with stacked layers for each chamber. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, if you stick loads of thermal mass on there, have the burn chamber pulling the heat through, it'll yeah, and charge up that battery, that earth battery. Um, Abdul Mukid, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Hope you and your family and friends, you're all doing well. We're doing all right. I hope you're keeping well. Thank you very much for coming in.
Abdullah Mokri three-star
Um,
training. What does that mean? Three-star training.
so Dave said, I first saw a rocket stove while in America. Some hobos were cooking up a stew. uh, that's a nice introduction to rocket stoves. I don't know what got me into looking at rocket stoves. I can't remember what got me into it, but it was something that got me into looking at rocket stoves. And then from there, I went onto a website called Permies.com and spent loads of times on the forums over there. And then, yeah, this was quite early on in my gardening. Um, Tim, thank you very much for coming in. Sorry I'm late to the party. Hope you're well. I'm not bad. I'm not bad at all. Better late than never. I'm glad you made it in. Hope you're keeping well. Hope family and everything's good.
What's a
Um,
Labrador? What's that? A black
a
dog?
Labrador is a dog.
Oh, okay.
Um,
A black dog.
yeah. Do you know like the next door's dog? Do you like next door? Do you like Jess?
Yeah.
Just like that, but all black without the spots.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just a Dalmatian.
Yeah. Jess is a Dalmatian. They're similar dogs. They've got 4 legs, so they're very similar. Uh, Dave's Allotment Garden. There are some homestead in the USA that have built rocket stoves for their homes. Boiling the kettle for free got me into rocket stoves. Rocket stoves I've took off. I thought about digging a trench in the middle of my polytunnel and wood path on top. I have a friend with a horse. I could uh, repeat it after year. Refresh the horse manure and not lose space. See what I do with mine, Isabella, is I've got my compost pile, so I'll heat it. I'll build it up to about probably 3/4 of the way to the top, and then the top 6 inches or so I'll fill with compost, just normal compost that you can grow your stuff in, and then just plant into that. So you won't lose space that way either. But what you're saying is good as well because what it'll do is it'll radiate heat to the beds at the side, and I think that might be actually better. I think it, but the key will be getting it deep enough. But that might actually work better. Um, right, I'll have a look at all this. Right, I'll have to look into all this stuff late again. Sorry for that. The girl gardener, thank you very much for coming in. I hope you're keeping well. Yeah, it's been an interesting topic today. We've gone here, there, and everywhere, which is normal, but there's been some quite interesting topics come up. I'm very well, only 590 days to retirement. So if he's doing all this while he's working full time, Sarah, if you're doing everything at your plot while you're working full time, I want to see what you're up to when you've got more time on your hands. Uh, uh, looks like Wednesday will be the last day for growing most plants outdoors for the season. Why'd you say that drop? Dave, have you looked for a Kelly kettle? What's a Kelly kettle? Very well, Isabella. Thank you for asking. 21 days to official retirement. Looks like the chickens are going to be eating well out of the garden next week. What's going on? What's going on over there, Drop, at the moment? Are you getting some frost coming or something? Um, I've seen them. Oh, careful! You nearly threw my computer over. Be careful. Um, going to get going to get my first frost. It'll finish the tomatoes and eggplants. Uh, See, we haven't had any frosts yet. Yeah, we haven't had any frosts yet. I've still got tomatoes producing in the greenhouse, and I think they'll keep producing until the end of the month. I've got aubergines still ripe, well, growing on the plants, and I think we'll be picking aubergines till the end of the month as well. What else have we got? We've got loads of chilies, absolutely loads of chilies, but they're nowhere near becoming ripe anytime soon. Um, Dave, yeah, but they'll work with cardboard. Uh, Drop. I don't know what zone we are. I think we're about a sevenish. I think.
Papa,
G.
what does RSPCA stand for? RSPCA.
Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They protect animals. They're like the animal police.
Oh, okay.
Um, all of my tomatoes have finished growing, and I wasn't successful with aubergines this time. Chilies are still not ripe in the greenhouse. See, we've we've got some tomato. So, outside tomatoes are finished. Outside tomatoes finished a good few weeks ago now, but we've still got loads of inside tomatoes, loads of tomatoes in the greenhouse, and they'll keep producing up until the end of this month very comfortably, I think. We're picking aubergines, we're picking stuff from the greenhouse quite a bit. All we've got left outside is some chard and some salads and stuff. But I've heavily planted my beds with cover crops. Harvested 20 pounds of beefsteak tomatoes this week. Now that's not bad at all. That's not a bad little harvest. What we what we've been lucky enough to do is the way we've been harvesting tomatoes since June. We started our tomatoes in January. I know everyone says wait till March, April, that sort of time, but we started our tomatoes off in January. Got really leggy tomato plants, and then like I say, I stuck most of that tomato plant underground, and just left the tip of it outside, and they produced really well. Really early harvest when people were still getting young plants. You know that they were planting their plants outside. I was getting a decent harvest, so it doesn't hurt to get your tomatoes planted started early. I still have tomatoes going red outside, though the purple tomatoes I grew from seed never turned purple. They were very red. That's a shame. I've got a volunteer tomato, a volunteer tomato growing in one of my compost piles in my greenhouse, and it'd grown into quite a substantial tomato plant before I'd noticed it, and they're like a black cherry tomato. I can't remember planting them, but yeah, they were quite impressive, and we've still got a few of those growing. Ant seeds I sow now. Oh, well indoors. Any seeds are grown out. Okay. Uh, what are you planting at the minute, Brian? See, Brian's got a wealth of knowledge. Yeah, old school, proper traditional garden. If you see the way he does his successional sowings and his interplantings, very impressive. Um, got tons got tons more ripening tomatoes in the garden. I'll be bringing peppers so they can finish out. I planted cherry peppers this year. Um, I'll, most of my tomatoes are planted into the ground of the greenhouse, so what the things that were quite young, or like the runty type of plants. We've brought them into the house, and hopefully we're going to get overwinter them and get them planted out next year. And then next year they'll be given the main area to grow in. But yeah, I'll be bringing in my okay. Maybe make a raised bed in the polytunnel with space under it. I don't see myself removing the topsoil, putting new horse manure, reapplying topsoil, and new planting. Is it not a lot of the heavy lifting? Um, see, four together to make a raised bed structure, and then that's just manure and filled with all of that sort of stuff. Um, Manure, leaves, wood chips. That's all going to be the ingredients for compost, and that's going to break down. And then it's just finished compost for the top 6 inches, and then it's your raised bed that's generating heat. How long does the hotbed stay hot?
You can get some fire in it.
You can get some fire in it. Uh, we made ours in I think about November December time, and I topped it up again in about January February time. I topped it up with another few sacks of fresh horse manure. Um, so it carried on. Basically, that top up, what it did was it by sort of the third monthish, it was starting to lose the heat. But once I topped it up again, it just sort of kick-started everything again, and then it gave me a good start right into the start of the season. So as long as the level drops, as it starts to lose volume, if you just top it up again, then you can just keep it extended like that. So I think you could get a good 6 months of heat out of it if it was built right. But if you manage to build it even bigger and build it big enough, you can go for a John Pino style compost pile. And he was actually generating hot water ready to wash your dishes with it. That sort of temperature he was getting out of it. What I'm gonna do this year is I'm gonna take. I've got a copper coil, so it's copper pipe. It's about a 2.5 mil. No, sorry, it's about a 5 mil copper coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach some hose pipe to it, and I'm just going to fill it with water. So it's going to be a closed circuit, and I'm going to put the hose pipe, wind that into my compost pile, and it's almost going to be like a convection heater. Yeah, convection heater, and that copper coil, I'm going to just leave it in something outside. I might add some thermal mass to it to charge, to act like a battery, or I might just let it heat the air. But if I let it heat the air, I know it's going to be quite inefficient. But if I let it heat some sort of mass, I think it'll do better if I can figure out how to do it. But definitely that's one thing that I'm going to do. Japanese onion sets are in, plus flower seeds. See, I started my Japanese onions from seed this year. I started them, I think, early part, sort of mid-September. They're they're quite thin. They look like grass at the minute, so I think they're needing some light. I've got 3 succession plants on carrots, beets, and radishes. I'll be pulling them up as needed in the winter. All our carrots are pretty much done, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the wonky ones, the one where it's straight and then at the end they're about 2 or 4 pieces.
See, I don't grow much. You like the ones with multiple fingers on them?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it has this long arm and then
Yeah.
it has one finger here, one finger there.
You get more carrots for your money, don't you? um, got collies, peas, and beans to go out tomorrow. I still haven't started my broad beans off yet. I've been meaning to do that since September. I'm just losing time at the minute. I just haven't got enough to get the air through it. That won't be a bad idea.
Have we just started again?
But I was just hoping, just leave it closed circuit without any sort of hassle. Um, I want to get solar panels in there at some point, or some kind of windmill but I've watched your solar panel setup, but I need to get some kind of battery set up and a battery electricity
Why
generation
is this
unit set up in there because there's so much
you?
wind. We get so much wind. I could generate so much electricity from that wind. Great idea. The hot water. Oops, my laptop battery's low. I hope it makes it to the end of the live chat. Um, Radha Khalil, wa alaikum assalam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you
What
very
did
much
you
for
say?
coming in.
What?
Um, we're, we're, we're at 9 o'clock. We've been on just over an hour.
Over an hour.
Yeah, I think we won't call it a day yet. We'll just say hello for another few minutes.
Bye bye, not
Um,
saying hello.
yeah, so this talk that I'm giving, it's on Tuesday, so it's come round really fast from the day. I mean, I spoke to the guy in I can't remember. It was probably 3 or 4 months ago. The head teacher of this school,
What school?
and the school I'm going to on Tuesday week. So yeah, I spoke to him in 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 middle of lockdown while the schools and stuff were still closed, and then he said I'll give you a call in September, and he rang me last week and out of the blue and said, okay, can you come and can you come down? I said, all right, then I'll come next week because once it gets towards the end of this month, I get really busy at work, so it just gets too hectic to do anything. I have to be careful with my little wheeled seat now. Um, I'm solo down. It took 10 attempts to get back into my mobility scooter last week. Brian, does your friend come and still help you out?
Can you see my hand?
Or did your daughter just give a brilliant idea to your friend, market his gadget to That's
It's
not a
still
bad
on.
idea. That's not a bad
What
idea.
do you mean?
You can sell the milk bottles, sell the bottles to the milk bottle people.
What? Sell the milk bottles to the
uh,
milk bottle people.
look,
Marking
sit
his
back, sit
gadget
back.
to the milk.
Look
Oh
into.
yeah, he can put his gadget on the milk bottle and then he can sell it like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's
Or
not a
he,
bad idea
or he
at
can
all, is
make
it?
it in a little box on it with two padlocks.
He's got that. I forgot to bring the package home from work. It's still sat on my desk. Um, look into a cutting edge power CEP Trailblazer complete. Drop. See when you say things like that. Yeah, you get me excited, man. You get me excited. Cookery books, Frank. What do you mean cookery books?
Cookery books. What?
Uh,
Cookery books, Monty. Wait, look at this. Can you do this? Mix up your fingers.
everyone's Terry saying bye to Laura. It was a waste of time. Instead of I'm going for the plot share with the
Mashallah, he knows
with the
his
backing of the
Arabic
committee.
alphabet really well. What does that mean?
Oh, it's Zaki.
Book cooking. What does that mean? Book cooking.
Ah.
What?
Yeah, Frank, I'm waking up now. I'm waking up. It
What?
means what I do at work.
Book cooking.
Yeah, cookbook. Uh,
I still don't get it. You know what
100 amp
100
hour batteries. Uh,
amp hour. What?
yeah, Alhamdulillah, he's learnt his alphabet quite well. I think the solar is better for the house. I like solar boiler, more use of it and use all year round. I want. They're just so expensive, though, aren't they? Solar panels. They're just so expensive.
What's a solar panel?
I am planning on recording the lecture or the event at the school. I've asked permission from the head teacher and said, look,
I'm a good gardener, so you have to let me into your
yeah,
school 'cause I'm a
I've
good
said
gardener.
So my daughter's just winding me up. So
He's gonna go to the school and say, I'm a good gardener, so you have to let me talk.
um, what do you think about livestock plans for
I'm at
those?
school and everyone can
I've
watch
still
it.
I've still got a plan for those little goats, but let me see. Let me get my head around everything, and actually the courage to go out and do it. Solar boiler is cheaper. Hot water. Um, if anyone's in the UK, if you haven't heard about the government scheme at the moment, if you've got wooden windows, they're replacing wooden windows with double glazing. They're installing underfloor insulation, cavity wall insulation. They're doing quite a few bits like that for free. So there's a grant for up to £10,000 that you can go and claim. So if you're in the UK and you haven't claimed it, go and have a look at that. I think it's called Government Green Deal scheme. So go and have a look at it. It'll
I
be
can't
worth it for you to.
Wait, have you done it, Baba?
Um, the stuff that we need is not part of the scheme. So I'd like those solar panels, but they haven't got them.
I'm spinning on my earrings and it makes this glittery whirlpool. Have a look. Ah!
Batteries are the biggest expense, especially if you go LiFePro or lithium. See, drop. I was thinking of if I could get a couple of truck batteries from a scrapyard or something, and just use a couple of old truck batteries. I know they'll take up a lot more space, and there's a lot more risks if they fall over and all the juices start leaking out. But that's what I had in my head to have a go at. Right, guys, we're well over the hour mark, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it a day there, if you don't mind.
No!
Yeah, I wanna get. You need to get some bed. You need to get to bed. Just purchase the Spider Farmer SF1000. Carl, good luck with it, mate. Good luck with it.
Who's still here?
Um, that's my poorly
I
leg
thought you
you're
said
leaning
you
on.
were
Um, simple energy advice is the website for the Green Homes grant eligibility. Not all it seems. Andrew, you're right. There are they make it sound better than it is, because to qualify for the double glazing, you have to have wood old style single glazing windows. There's a couple of things that you could get on it. If you haven't got underfloor insulation, stuff like that, that might help. But I think there's going to be some catches involved in it. Right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day there. Everyone, stay safe.
Wait.
Stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you next week.
Just before you go, I want to look.
Go on.
You can have a little disco on your ear.
You
can have a little disco ball on your
right,
ear.
on that note, I'm going to call it a day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
You want a disco ball on your ear? You want one in
No,
your ear?
I don't want a disco ball on my ear.